Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Rashmi Singh, will be teaching you all science here. So after completing first chapter of class 7 nutrition in plants, now we will be discussing the second chapter which is nutrition in animals. So if you haven't seen my previous video or if you wish to watch this video in Hindi, please put a comment in the comment box. I really hope you will like this video and it does help in some way to ignite your knowledge. So before moving ahead to the chapter, firstly I would like to discuss the content of the chapter. Here we will be covering the topics such as introduction, different eating habits of animal, digestion in humans, the mouth and the buccal cavity, the food pipe, the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, digestion in grass-eating animals, feeding and digestion in amoeba, and at the last we will discuss about some activities. So let us discuss our very first topic. So in our first chapter we studied about there are two modes of nutrition, which is autotrophic and heterotrophic. In the autotrophic mode, the organism prepare their food by themselves, such as plant. And heterotrophs, it is a mode of nutrition in which organism depends on other for their food, such as humans, animals and few of the plants. So basically in this chapter we are going to learn about the heterotrophs. So let us move forward. Alright. So what is the nutrition in animals? Animal nutrition includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of the food and its utilization in the body. Yes, we need to study about the nutrition requirement, mode of intake of the food and how it's utilized by the body. So first we need to clear about the nutrition requirement. So as you know, food is necessary for survival for all living organisms. Animals require food for the life processes. We also know that all living organisms depend on plants for their food. We know that according to their eating habits, animals are grouped into two categories, okay, which is autotroph and heterotrophs, and it also grouped into three categories which is based on their eating habits, which is herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. So herbivores are the grass eaters, carnivores are the flesh eaters and omnivores are the organism which can eat both the plant as well as the animal product also. So we studied in detail about the herbivores, carnivores and omnivores in a previous chapter. So as we know that we all are heterotrophs, but plants are the autotrophs, right? Plant can prepare their own food with the help of the photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the process by which plant can make their own food, and that's why plants are known as a autotrophs. So do you know that all animals have various feeding habits based on their body requirement? So let us talk. So here you can see in this picture there is a squirrel and the squirrel is chewing the food. The butterfly is sucking the flower nectar and the cows, babies are sucking the mother milk. So these all are the different mode of eating food. So here I have a list for you all. So let us discuss in detail. So if I'll talk about the snail will eat the grass by the mode of the chewing. So how the snake will eat? It will eat by the chewing. An ant will eat the insect by the scraping. Eagle will eat the flesh by the swallowing. Hummingbird sucks the flower nectar. Lice suck the blood, mosquitoes sucks the blood, butterflies sucks the nectar, and housefly eat decaying matter by the breathing matter. So these all are the modes of feeding in animals. So how do human beings intake their food? Yes, by the chewing. Okay, by the chewing and the swallowing. We eat our food. So let us move forward to talk about the digestion. So what is the digestion? First we need to know it is a process by which animals break down complex food substances into the simpler substance, right? So the complex food substances can't digested by our body. So it's need to convert into the simpler form to get digested. So here we will discuss about the digestion in human beings. So human digestive system consists of digestive glands and alimentary canal. Together they are responsible for the digestion. So alright, what is alimentary canal? The food that we eat passes through the continuous into a canal which begins at the mouth and ends at the anus. Food component gradually get digested as food travels through the various compartments. So what are the various parts of the alimentary canals? Yes, let us discuss. The parts of the alimentary canal is buccal cavity or mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine and anus. You need to learn about the parts of the alimentary canal. So here I have a trick for you all to learn the parts. Okay. What you need to learn? You need to learn the word that is Bossla, B-O-S-S-L-A. So B is for the buccal cavity, O is for the esophagus, S is for the stomach, S for the small intestine, L for the large intestine and A for the anus. So by the Bossla word you can learn the all parts of the alimentary canal easily. Okay, so these all are the part of the alimentary canal. Now some glands are also included to the digestive system, which is salivary glands, liver and pancreas. The alimentary canal and the gland together is called the digestive system. Now we'll study what happens to the food when it goes to inside our body. Okay, so breaking down of food occurs by two ways, which is mechanical digestion and chemical digestion. So what is mechanical digestion? It's a physical breaking down of food when we chew the food with the teeth. And what are the chemical digestion? It's a chemical breakdown of food into the molecule that the body can absorb. So these are the two ways by which we can digest the food. So let us study about the first part of the alimentary canal, which is mouth. Okay. Now food is taken into the body through the mouth. So the digestion of the food starts from the mouth only. So this process is called the egestion. So children, as you need to know about the main 4 steps which is important in digestion of the food. First is ingestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Egestion is the last step and ingestion is the first step. Ingestion is known as the taking food, okay, through the mouth. So in the mouth the food is broken down into smaller pieces by the teeth. The mouth has salivary glands and which secretes saliva. The saliva breaks down the starch into the sugar. So the digestion of the food starts in the mouth only. It will break the carbohydrate into the starch and starch convert into the sugar. The tongue helps to mix the food with the saliva and swallow the food. Then we'll talk about the teeth. What are the function of the teeth? So before talking the function of the teeth, we need to know about the tongue also. Okay, so the tongue has taste buds to detect different tastes of the food. The different region of the tongue detects different tastes. Okay, so what happened in the tongue area? There are some taste buds which is sweet, salty, sour and bitter. There are 4 types of taste buds we have in our tongue. So by which we can feel the different taste. Okay. So this is the speciality of the tongue. But what is the function of the tongue? To get the digested the food, the tongue mix the saliva into the food and it prepare the food into the bolus form to pass to the esophagus. Okay, now we'll talk about the teeth. So there are 4 types of teeth. They are incisors, canines, premolars and molars. What are the incisors? It helps in biting and cutting the food. So the front 4 teeth are known as the incisor. It helps in biting and cutting. What are the canines? Canine help in piercing and tearing the food. So when we eat apples, when we eat anything, we need to take a bite. So with the help of the canines, we pierce or tear the food. And then the premolars and molars. What it does? They helps in chewing and grinding the foods. So we have 8 incisors, 4 canines and 20 premolars and molar teeth. Total we have 32 teeth in our mouth. So let us talk about the esophagus. So after eating the food into the buccal cavity, it will goes to the esophagus. So the food pipe start from the neck region and run until the chest area in animals. When the food chewed, it moves through the food pipe and reach the stomach through the path, and the food moves into the downward directions. Okay, when the partially digested food moves to the stomach, it moves through the esophagus. Okay, so how it moves? There are a movement which is called the stalesis, which helps the food to move downward to get digested. Okay, so does the food pipe help the food to go to the esophagus? Then what happened? When the food reaches to the stomach, it is start digested. Okay, so what are the stomach? Let us talk about the structure of the stomach. It is the widest part of alimentary canal and it has a sac-like structure. So you might have experienced that the hiccups. Okay, so why does it happens? It happens when the food particles enters to your windpipe. Windpipe and food pipe attach with each other and it is separated by a flip which guides the food to move downwards. So what happens when we talk while eating? The food enters to our windpipe and we get hiccup. Now you know the reason why hiccups we get. Okay, so let us talk about the function of the stomach in detail. The function of the stomach, it secretes digestive juices, hydrochloric acid and mucus. So what are the function? The function of the mucus is it protects the stomach lining from the acids. The hydrochloric acid kills the bacteria that enters along with the food, makes the medium in stomach acidic and thus helps in digestive juices to act. And digestive juices does it breaks the protein into the simpler substance. So we need to know about the digestion of the protein. Where does it occurs? It occurs into the stomach. And as you know that the digestion of the food start from the mouth only. So the carbohydrate, the starch convert into the glucose in the mouth and then the protein start digested into the stomach. So alright, let us move to the story about the stomach. What is the story about discovery of the stomach? Are you ready to listen? Yes. Are you all excited? Yes. Now let's start the story. So in 1822, there was a man named Alexis Saint Martin was hit by a gun. The bullet had made a hole in his stomach. Then he was admitted to an American hospital. He was brought to an American doctor named William Beaumont. He saved his patient, but he could not close the hole properly and left in bandage. Now Beaumont took it as a great chance to know about the stomach. So Beaumont see the inside of the stomach through the hole. Beaumont found that the stomach was churning food. Its walls secreted a fluid which could digest the food. He also observed that the end of the stomach opens into the intestine only after the digestion of the food. Inside the stomach, the food gets digested. So this is the story of the discovery of stomach. Alright, so let's move forward to the small intestine. So now the food has passed on through mouth to move on to the esophagus, then the stomach, and now it will go to the small intestine. So it is a highly coiled structure and the length of the small intestine is 7.5 meter long. It receives secretion of liver and pancreas. It also secretes digestive juices. It breaks the carbohydrate into glucose, fats into fatty acid and proteins into the amino acid. Yes, this is very important to learn. The length of the small intestine is 7.5 meter. It is highly coiled structure. And the inner line of the small intestine secrete some digestive juices. It also receives the digestive juices from the liver and the pancreas. Okay. We have studied that liver and pancreas are digestive glands. So they also secrete some digestive juices and they passes these juices to small intestine. So with the help of these digestive juices which is secreted by the pancreas and liver, and then the inner lining of the stomach help to digest the food. So complete digestion of food takes place where? Yes, it takes place in the small intestine only. So you need to learn. This question is very important because frequently it is asked in the exam, where does the food get digested completely? So it get digested completely into the small intestine only. So the small intestine breaks the carbohydrate into the glucose, fat into the fatty acid and protein into the amino acid. Alright, yes, you have to remember this because this is also very important for the exams and for the competitive exams also. This is very important points which is you need to learn. So let us talk about the liver in detail. So what is liver? Yes, it is known as the largest gland of the human being. Okay, it is known as the largest gland of human body. Liver secrete bile juices which is stored in the gallbladder. Where does it stored? It is stored in the gallbladder. We studied that liver is reddish brown gland and it is also known as the largest gland. You need to make a note of it. What are the largest gland, what are the length and what it secretes. Okay, it secretes bile juices which stored in the gallbladder. So bile plays an important role in the digestion of the fats. Now we'll talk about the pancreas. Okay, so it is a large green colored gland, or you can say it is a large cream or yellowish color gland, okay, which is located just below the stomach. it secretes pancreatic juice. The liver secretes bile juices and the pancreas secretes pancreatic juices. It acts on carbohydrate, fats and protein and changes them into the simpler form. Alright? Alright. Now we will discuss about the absorption in the small intestine. So let us talk about the absorption process. So the process by which the digested food is absorbed in the blood vessels from the small intestine is known as the absorption. So we see how it happens. So the inner walls of the small intestine have thousands of fingers like structure which is named as villi. So after absorption, let us talk about what happens to the food. So what is assimilation? Assimilation is a process by which the organ of the body utilize the digested food and form complex substances which is needed by the body, such as protein is known as the assimilation, or you can say the absorbed substance are transported via the blood vessels to the different organs of the body, and this process is known as the assimilation. All right, so now you understood the absorption, the assimilation. Now we move forward to the large intestine. So what is the large intestine? So after completing digestion of food in small intestine, if any food that is left undigested passes through the small intestine and enters to the large intestine. Okay, it is a tube-like structure and wider and shorter than the small intestine. The length of the large intestine is 1.5 meter long, whereas small intestine is 7.5 meter long. So main function of the large intestine is to absorb water and salts from the undigested food. All right? All right. Now the rest of the waste undigested food passes into the rectum. Rectum holds the undigested food until elimination. So the fecal matter is removed from the anus from time to time. So the process by which the waste undigested food excrete out from the body through the anus is known as the ascension. All right? All right. So now we have understood the entire process of digestion. First, we take food into our mouth. The digestion of the starch starts right. Then the partially digested food will move through the esophagus to our stomach, and the digestion of proteins start here. After stomach, the partially digested food will pass into the small intestine, whereas complete digestion of the food takes place, and then the leftover undigested food will pass into the large intestine, whereas water and salt absorbs from the undigested food and then it goes to the rectum, and finally the fecal matter eliminate through the anus. So this is the entire process of the digestion. Okay, so the main steps of the nutrition in humans are ingestion, digestion, absorption and assimilation. Ingestion is eating food into the mouth, then the digestion. Okay, digestion means breaking down of the food into the simpler form. Then absorption, it occurs in the small intestine. Then assimilation, transportation of the absorbed substances to different parts of the body. And finally, ascension. So ascension is a removal of waste material from the body. Now we are done with the digestion of human being. So let us discuss about the digestion in grass eating animals. So as you know that the grass eating animal eat grasses, right? and grasses are rich in cellulose. So which is a form of carbohydrate? Right? Many animals including human can digest cellulose. Okay, yes, but we can't digest cellulose. Grass eating can digest, but human cannot digest because they have specific bacteria in their stomach to digest the cellulose. We can digest the starch, we can digest the glucose, okay, but we cannot digest the cellulose. Have you ever seen cows, buffaloes and other grass eating animals continuously chewing their food even if they are not eating? Let's find out the fact. Okay, so what happens when they eat grasses? Then they quickly swallow the grasses and then they will store it in a part of the stomach which is called the rumen. So because in rumen there is a bacteria which helps to digest the cellulose, and this bacteria is not found in the human being. That's why we cannot digest the cellulose. After the cellulose digested, the partially digested food in rumen is called gut. And then the curd returned to the mouth in small lump and the animal chew it for the digestion of the food. So the process is called rumination, and these animals are known as the ruminants. So animal thoroughly chew the curd and swallow it again, and then the chewed curd doesn't go back to the rumen but to the other compartments for the complete digestion. So this is all about the digestion in the ruminants. What happen when they eat the food? They are not going to chew it. They quickly swallow the food, okay, and it goes to the partially digested food goes to the gut, okay, goes to the rumen, and again it brought back to the mouth, and which is called the cud. The form of the food is called the cud. Again the mouth is going to chew this food, and it passes to the other compartments of the stomach to get digested, and this is called the rumination. And the process, the animals are called the ruminants. This is all about the grass eating animal and their nutrition. Now we'll talk about the amoeba. So what is amoeba? Amoeba is a microscopic single cell organism which is found in the pond. It has a cell membrane, a nucleus and many small vacuoles in its cytoplasm. It has no fixed shape because amoeba constantly changes its shapes and position. It has a finger-like projection called pseudopodia, okay, which is also known as a false feet, which helps in movement and food capturing. So amoeba feeds on some microscopic organisms, right? So what happens when amoeba comes near food particles? Pseudopodia is produced around the food particle. The food particle is trapped into a food vacuole. In the food vacuole, the food is digested by the digestive enzymes and get absorbed. The undigested waste is then sent out by the vacuoles. So the digestion occurs in the vacuoles and the excretion also occurs in the vacuoles in the amoeba, and the pseudopodia helps to the locomotion and it also helps to capturing the food. It captures the food and it directly passes the food into the vacuoles, and in the vacuole there are some digestive juices which digest the food, and the undigested part of the food or waste material of the food excrete out again through the vacuoles. And this is all about the feeding and digestion in the amoeba. So let us do some activities. Okay, now wear your science cap. Okay, because you all are the junior scientists. So here I have few activities for you all. So take a mirror, use the index finger and feel the teeth. Count the number of incisors, canines, premolars and molar teeth. Okay. Record your observation in the table below. So by this activity, you will be able to know about the types of the teeth, their structure and the total number of the teeth that you have. Now one more activity for you all. So this is all about the taste buds. Okay. So prepare a sugar solution, a common salt, a lemon juice and a crushed neem juice or a bitter gourd. You can crush it and make a liquid. Okay. So use a clean toothpick. You need to take a toothpick and put each solution one by one on different areas of the tongue as this is marked in the picture. So you could detect the sweet, salty, bitter and sour substances, and you can also get the information about the taste buds. Okay, so this is all about the activity for you all. So I hope that's all as sufficient for the day. So bye bye, take care, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.